This is Dr. Jonathan Hansen. I'm the president of World Ministries International, as well as Eagle Saving Nations. Please go to my website, worldministries.org. That's worldministries.org, and see what we need to do if we're going to stop this train wreck. It seems like we're going off a cliff. And if we're going to save the Republic, save America, we need the church to rise up and be what the church is supposed to be. Moving with the arm of God, the power of God, Pentecost. And that's what Eagle Saving Nations is all about. So again, go to my website, worldministries.org. Now, I've got Eric Hurd, Apostolic leader out of Florida, Sons of Issachar. Eric, welcome back.
Always a pleasure, Dr. Hansen. Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to continue on Halloween. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people, if you have not seen what we did yesterday, you need to go back at worldministries.org and listen or watch the program. I'll tell you what, we already covered quite a bit. We're going to cover quite a bit more. And I believe it's a very, very dangerous holiday. It's the witches' #1 holiday. I've read their testimonies, and they can't believe Christians celebrate it. They're opening up themselves for demonic attack, their children for demonic attack. You know, I believe, Eric, sometimes children come back from Halloween, and seriously, it starts, they start to be tormented, and bad dreams and other things. And what they did, I mean, a lot of times they're wearing costumes of demons.
Exactly. They think it's something innocent. And the scripture lets us know that my people are destroyed and they go astray because of lack of knowledge. So thank you for Dr. Hansen for exposing this. Many churches are not saying anything about it. Matter of fact, they're participating in an alternative celebration. We don't need to celebrate alternatively. We need to reject it. Witches and warlocks and wizards and many other demons and ohms, all these things are real. And I think that even in the times we're living in now, that people are becoming more aware of the spiritual realm.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a summary, although some of this is, even in this summary, is brand new. I'm using different notes. But the observance connected with Halloween are believed to have originated among the ancient Druids. And we covered that yesterday, who believed that on the evening of Samhain, the Lord of the Dead called forth host of evil spirits. Now, the holiday had its beginning in a pre-Christian festival of the dead celebrated by the Celtic people of England, Ireland, and Scotland. The festival observed at this time, called Samhain, pronounced Samhain, was the biggest and most significant holiday of the Celtic year. At this increase in time, not the spirits of generations departed, but it was appropriate to mingle with the living. So, you know, they believe that on this night, the spirits came. And I'll tell you what, as we get into it, if you did not give them a treat, then they attacked you. Now, the Celtics practiced an elaborate religion through their priestly caste, the Druids. Now, the Celtic festival of the dead, Samhain, on this occasion marked by burning human offerings. In the Black Arts Estates, you know, Richard Cavendish book, The Black Arts. In the 8th century, All Saints' Day was moved to November 1, or Samhain, from its original date, May 13th, which in Roman times had been a day dedicated to the lemurs, malevolent gods which drank human blood. So it would seem, not simply from the sources cited above, but also from a variety of other sources, Samhain was immersed in the blood of human sacrifices. Now, in the section entitled Human Sacrifice, Lewis Spencer writes, we are informed by Keating that the Irish Druids on the eve of Samhain, burned their victims in the holy fire. The history and origins of Druidism, page 105. Now, Spencer further suggests that human sacrifice was a frequent and common element in their religious procedures. No sacrifice might be carried out except in the presence of a druid. So we're talking about, human sacrifice, as we talked about yesterday. Bonfires, actually, it was bonfires of humans, and which would go out through the night. The bonfires, and so even this alone, Eric, I don't know how, if Christians are aware of it, how they ignore these type of pagan roots and pagan celebrations.
Most are not avid readers, Christians. Majority just go to check off the box that they've gone to a worship service on Sunday. But the priest's responsibility is to keep knowledge and to pass that knowledge on to the people. And we have participated in so many ritualistic, satanic ritualistic practices in America that we're unaware of. Many symbology and symbols that we worship. We'll be surprised if we did the research on it and a deep dive on it, that we're actually participating, even Christians, in many satanic rituals and practices.
Well, I totally agree. As I mentioned, Samhain was a time when the physical and spiritual realms were, according to the Druid priest, very closely linked. Anne Ross speaks of Samhain as a time when these beings used to come forth from the cave and devastate the land. Now, that's in Pagan Celtics, Britain, page 122. So if a person studies all of this, it's all right there. This holiday was very, very satanic, involved with, again, killing people to pacify these demons. And we're getting into, again, the Celtic people off England, Ireland, and Scotland. I'll tell you, if there was a program on the Vikings, which very, very demonic, and but celebrating all of these false gods.
Well, it goes on today. It goes on today, Dr. Hansen, and we're not to fool ourselves. At one time, growing up in the church, I was believing we participated in Halloween and all these things, but no one ever taught us. Did not come out from the pulpit, which it should. The priest should keep knowledge and let the people know the meanings of these things instead of preaching nonsense. And we've had that for so many years. And children are so sensitive to the spiritual realm. And they'll often say that, they have their friends, their invisible friends. And because we open up the door in Hollywood, and the power of the internet, social media has made it so accessible, iPhones and cell phones for children. So we're being inundated by satanic beings who want to host us as host bodies. And so we're experiencing these things as never before. And I don't think the enemy is afraid. I think he's very bold now to let you know, I'm in your face, and this is what I'm doing to your nation. And the nation will be destroyed because of these evil entities.
Well, you're right. Kids love Halloween because it's both fun and scary, and of course, free candy. But they have no idea what's behind this celebration. To Satanists and witches, Halloween is no joke. It is their most solemn ceremony of the year. Now, as you get closer to the second coming of Jesus Christ, Satanism will increase, and so will human sacrifice. Now, Halloween started in the British Isles with the Druids. October 31st was a night of terror called Samhain, and we've been covering that. Now, or Samhain is how you pronounce it. You spell it Samhain. Now, that night, the Druids went house to house demanding a child or virgin for human sacrifice. The victim was the Druids' treat. In exchange for the victim, they left a jack-o'-lantern with a lighted candle made of human fat, which was supposed to prevent these inside the home from death demons that night. Now, when some unfortunate could not meet the demands of the Druids, then it was time for the trick. A symbolic hex was drawn on the front door. That night, Satan or his demons would kill someone in that home. Spellbound, page 13 to 14. Now, the Druids offered their children in sacrifices. They believed that only the fruit of the body offered to Satan was for the sin of the soul. The Two Babylonians by Hislop, page 232. Now, the same thing is going on today, only it is more subtle. Lucifer dethroned and the blood on the doorpost by William and Sharon Schoblin. Now, you must understand that Satan is one of the most powerful and intelligent creatures God ever created. Ezekiel 28, 12 through 15. If you think he doesn't exist, then you won't fight him. Satan's greatest desire is to hurt and destroy people because of their ignorance. The children who are mutilated and murdered every Halloween are no accident. They are actually carefully planned sacrifices to Satan, earned out by those who serve into his realm. So they carry out these sacrifices. Now, it is paying off. Witchcraft is exploding among teens today. The Lord God hates Halloween and its evil origins. Satan human sacrifices are a sign of God's face. They're a slap in the face on God's face, is what it is. To gain control of children's minds, witches make elaborate incantations, calling forth demons' powers to attack these little children. Their minds are influenced by these dark powers to alter their way of thinking. Did you hear that, Eric? I mean, people, I think, take some of these Halloween candies not realizing what's been involved in offering them to what spirits.
Exactly. As we talked about, even the music, they would sacrifice tracks and pray over these with incantations. And I think that all throughout the year, Halloween being the most holy, their holy day, but all through the year, Dr. Hansen, they're sacrificing people and children. I looked at some research some years ago, was on the government website. Over 800,000 children are missing every year, not every 10 years, every year. So it lets us know that they gain access, those Satanists, through the sacrificing the blood. What Jesus Christ gave his blood for us, Satan always tries to invert or mimic. He has no blood because he is an archangel. And so he needs human blood to mimic the sacrifice of Jesus Christ.
Again, I think it's worth covering again. That night, the Druids went house to house demanding a child or virgin for human sacrifice. The victim was the Druids' treat. In exchange, they left a jack-o'-lantern with a lighted candle made of human fat, which was supposed to prevent those inside the home from the death demons that night. I'll tell you, Eric, human fat. Now, there's a lot of churches that see nothing wrong with celebrating Halloween, yet it's the most holy night for witches, Satanists, who put incantation and curses on people and children and churches. Eric?
Well, I think that God is going to hold the preachers responsible for not protecting the flock and not protecting our most innocent. And witchcraft has increased, as you said before, amongst our youth with the rise of Harry Potter and Pokemon and all these other Disney movies that are incorporating witchcraft into the psyche of children. So as they grow older, they're more prone to gravitate because the church has lost, for the most part, its power. They want power. It's all about power. So Satan is offering his people riches of the world, power, the glory of the world, and so people are not seeing it in the church for the most part. So they gravitate to Satanism.
Myth: jack-o'-lantern costumes, trick-or-treating, black candles, Halloween parties are harmless. Fact: all the above can be used by witches and Satanists for their demonic All Hallows Eve or Halloween black masses. Witches and Satanists use these jack-o'-lanterns and costumes in trick-or-treating and black candles. Witches and Satanists. Eric?
Yes, sir. And it's the responsibility of the born-again believer every day, Dr. Hansen. I am binding, I am speaking, I am out there trying to witness to people and to bring them out of the darkness. And this is spiritual warfare that we're into right now. You're looking at the people's minds are not there. Their callousness toward God today. And so this is the spirit that's infiltrating our world. I think that Albert Pike actually talked about that too as well. And it's all leading up to Luciferianism or Satanism. And so the rejecting of God and the Lucifer being hailed as the king of the earth.
Jack-o'-lanterns. I've covered some of the uses for them by these druids and others, but they've been used for centuries to scare decent people away from the highly secret and morbid black masses. Now, costumes are worn to aid witches in the black arts of shape-shifting and channeling. I mean, This is very real stuff. I've interviewed bishops that their fathers came out of shape-shifting in Nigeria, where they could turn into a Black Panther and go in and kill. Now, people don't realize this is heavy-duty Satanism and witchcraft, heavy-duty evil spirits.
They were saying, some of the people were saying that even over in England, some of the elites over there were shape-shifting and they were not humans. And if you look closely to some of the footages of even those in media, you can see them shape-shifting, their face turning. So these things are right before us, they're among us. And I believe that the days are going to be even more wicked as we enter into more satanic worship and manifestation.
Trick-or-treating is a method that witches and Satanists may use to obtain an item from you that can later be used in a curse or spell against you. Eric?
Well, that's what I think in Haiti they do a lot of that as well. Voodoo and all these other religions in Mexico, but they need human blood, and they've switched now to not just animals and using humans as sacrifices. It's really sad.
Black candles are commonly used to invoke demonic forces. The black candles on Halloween. Says if you or your children attend a Halloween party and get into the Halloween spirit, you are opening yourself up to demonic forces. Halloween parties are pseudo black masses and are just as dangerous. Again, so many Christians are involved in this.
And I don't know what the answer is, Dr. Hansen, overall. I mean, we touch some people. I don't see a lot of people actually talking about this. Mainline preachers. While these spirits are tearing up our children, you can see it in the rebellion. We see it. There was a group over in New York. I read an article a few weeks ago where they were getting children online, and they were casting spells online. And they were also meeting up with these children to do a satanic sacrifice in New York, and they found all the symbology of black mass and witchcraft. But these are lower levels, Dr. Hansen. These things go up to very high levels, and people who are running governments around the world are participating in this type of satanic rituals.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might think Halloween and recall it as a time of trick-or-treating and childhood pranks. The fact is, Halloween has always been a day of demonic celebration of the dark, evil forces. As you know, I used to be in law enforcement in the 80s and 79, 80s. But on Halloween, many times in law enforcement, you have these animals found in parks that have been drained of their blood. And sometimes there's a lot of people and children, as you said earlier, that go missing. And the police discover many of these things, and whether they have no blood, but a lot of this is not reported on mainline news. But Halloween is a special night where they do sacrifices. A lot of people to this very day. I'm talking about witches and Satanists.
Well, again, if you look at there's a satanic holiday calendar. If you look at the calendar, there are certain requirements that they use on certain days, and virgin girls, young babies, orgies, all these things are involved in this black mass to invoke evil spirits. And we as Christians have to say no. We don't participate in this holiday. We don't give out candy, and we don't turn our lights on. And it's okay. And so we must begin to now stand our ground and resist the devil. And the Bible says he'll flee from us. And when people ask why we're not participating, that's an open door to tell them and to teach them the truth about Halloween.
Years ago, there were 3,814, and I have this in my notes, but I've had this for years, covens and 423 satanic cults known to exist in the United States. There is no way of knowing how many others have kept their gruesome rituals and hideous sacrifices secret from the authorities. Witches and Satanists do not advertise. They look and act just like us. They may work with you. They might live next door. They may be your teachers at your children's schools. They're in hospitals. Some of these people are in the medical profession. Eric?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. I believe they're there, and, to see death upon people, to sacrifice people. And when I was in the military, they had a time where Satanists, they had, their certain space. Luciferianism had their certain space, just like the Christians would have their space in the barracks. I mean, not in the barracks, but in the community centers, where they would practice these things. And also, I'm not sure if you heard of Michael Aquino. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Army, and he was responsible for psychological warfare. So again, these people embed themselves, Dr. Hansen, in all sectors of society, in media, in education, hospitals, medical, politicians, politics. They're everywhere, and they've just infiltrated themselves right in there. And we wonder why decisions are being made like in California. Why is Newsom signing all these ridiculous bills coming up? Because these people are Satanists at the core.
Halloween, another article, Fun or Pagan Rituals by Ruth Gordon. It says, Halloween is a day that witches celebrate above all other days. It is a festival of the dead and represents the end and the beginning of the witches' year. It marks the beginning of death and destruction associated with winter. At this time, the power of the underworld is unleashed, and spirits are supposedly freed to roam about the earth. It is considered the best time to contact spirits. Halloween and Satanism, P. Phillips and J.H. Roby. Says 1987, page 146. The best time of the year to contact spirits. The
Yeah,
best day.
open doors. Yeah, open doors and portals are open at certain times and seasons, and we as Christians are so far behind, Dr. Hansen. Now, thank you for even speaking to this topic, because most Christians don't get it. Again, I didn't get it when I was growing up. I had no idea. I was participating in some of these festivals and holidays, and even over in countries like South America, they're huge, and these Mardi Gras and things like that, and they just glorify. I think they had something over in Brazil just recently, and then God flooded out the whole thing. They had this big statue, a float of Satan, and God had torrential rains, and he tore it apart. He wasn't having it.
I remember that. There's another religious group which is equally serious about its Halloween celebrations. That's the Satanist. Halloween to them is more sinister and direct celebration of death and Satan. They celebrate it as one of his two highest holy days. At Halloween, the sacrifices of some of these Satan cults are unspeakably vicious and brutal. Like Lambs to the Slaughter, Joanne Mitchelson, 1989, page 190. This includes a series of 6 weeks of rituals, including the slaughter of a small animal like a bird or cat, progressing through each week with a larger animal, such as a goat, and then the murder of a small infant or child, until the final night when they virtually murder not only another child, but also an adult female. Eric?
Yeah, well, they do this. This highly planned. They do it, and they work it all the way up to the final day, and they bring terror. They kidnap the child or the individual adult, and they hold them there, and they just prep them for this. And the terror is so great that the adrenalized blood is shed, and they drink it, and they get a high like LSD, and also, something they think it's some type of youth serum, and they're bathed in it and have orgies in it. It's just really nasty and ugly. And this is the reality that we're living in, is being exposed like never before.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Warning Program, and discussing Halloween Day 2. And if you can go through yesterday and today and just ignore it all, like I said yesterday, I think you're already just about a seared conscience. You are in serious trouble, because the Bible talks about in the last days so many demons being released out of hell itself, the pit. And I'll tell you what, we are, why are all of these people sometimes being killed in mass murders? Why are children killing other children? Could it be that they're involved with Halloween and other things, where evil spirits now are plaguing them so much, the demons of death, and they're being used to kill other children? So I'll tell you what, when we used to know how to cast out demons, today the same denominations that could cast out demons now send them to a counselor. So this is how sick the church is. Eric, closing comments?
Yes, sir. We have to get on the ball, and we have to really be educating and constantly educating ourselves. And it doesn't take many people to come together and sound the alarm. Thank you for sounding the alarm.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Warning Program. Do what you can to keep us on your local station. Help us get on national television. That takes money. Go to my website, worldministries.org, worldministries.org, or telephone 360-629-5248, 360-629-5248. Either way, you can give and you can join Eagle Saving Nations. God bless you.